Hi everybody, Lori here. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm excited to be a part of the February release video hop with Altenew, and I have a couple of fun, colorful projects to share with you using some of these new February release products. I'm starting with the Crafta Flower Hibiscus Layering Die Set. If you're not familiar with these, they're sort of new. I've used them before. They have this fabulous keyhole system, which allows you to effortlessly layer the dies to create beautiful blooms. Okay, so this is the hibiscus. I wanted to say, I think I grew up saying hibiscus. Around here in these parts, we say hibiscus, but I Googled the pronunciation and they want to tell you to say hibiscus. So potato. Here's the keyhole system. See, there's a little keyhole in the dies, and they're also numbered, so you know how to easily line up those keyhole. And then the other floral cluster has arrows. I'm also going to be using some of these gradient cardstock sets by Altenew. This one is the Red Sunset Pack, and it gives you 4 different shades of red to pink kind of gradient cardstock. Perfect for a project like this. I'm also going to be using the new purple. So we're going to do like a red and a purple hibiscus. And I am just die cutting all the little pieces of the blooms with the different shades of cardstock. Also, you have this little doodad. What's it called? I'm going to look it up. Okay, I stopped the video and I looked it up. And I don't know why I do, because sometimes it just makes me more confused. But I believe that whole yellow thingamajig is called a pistil. But there are also other little names within it. Okay, so I temporarily adhered all the little red and pink petals down to some scrap cardstock. And I took out some Altenew Crisp dye ink in the color Heartbeat. And I'm giving it a little once over, just along the base, just to give it that little gradient love. And then I felt like the darker red one needed more, so I pulled out Vineyard Berry. I do have a lot of the new round Altenew inks, but I am currently in the process of reorganizing my inks, and they were in a box. And I had my oval ones, and I know I love the color Heartbeat. Like, I'm so familiar with that color, so I always gravitate to Heartbeat. And then that Vineyard Berry is just a little bit darker. So once I get those blended, just a little dab, I start gluing them and layering them together. And this keyhole system makes it effortless. They're also numbered if you want to go. You don't have to go in numerical order. I mean, I don't think that the petals are going to be upset with you. But I love how the little pistil also has that keyhole, or keyhole shape in it. And then now there's this little thingamajiggy. What's it called? It is, I believe it's called a stamen, and I'm just gluing that on right there. By the way, I'm using the little Barely Art glue, which is great, the precision tip. Now for the purple, again, using the layering new purple gradient cardstock and just die cutting all those petals. It really doesn't matter which one you do light, which one you do dark, because once you start layering them and blending them up, you can't go wrong. You really can't. Now, I Googled hibiscus, and there really are a lot of different colors of these types of blooms. But again, sometimes I don't even go according to what's realistic. You know what I mean? If I want to make a bubblegum hibiscus, if I want to make a rainbow hibiscus, if I want to make a Christmas hibiscus, you can do that. You know what I mean? What I'm trying to say is there's no hibiscus police out there. You know what I mean? Live your best hibiscus life. Okay, I'm going to stop saying it. Now, here's something that's kind of fun. I pulled out Sapphire Crisp ink, and I'm doing that on the purple, and it gives it that beautiful kind of like blue, what do you call it, like blue violet. I'm here for that kind of different color ink on the purple cardstock. Gives it a nice little look. When I Googled hibiscus, I did see some blooms that had this kind of purpley blue violet look to them. So that's what kind of sparked my inspiration. Okay, so going to glue these together again. Now this one, I believe, has the little keyhole shape. The other one had the arrow. Either way you go, you know which petals go with which bloom, and they're also numbered, but like I said, you don't have to go in numerical order. And then you have the little pistil. But that's what I call Frankie our cat all the time. I'm like, you're a little pistil, aren't you? That cat just goes around crying all day long, begging for pets, begging for food, begging to go outside, you name it. He's a very vocal kitty cat, which I don't mind. I don't mind. Okay, I don't know what this little doodad is. Should I look it up? Okay, I believe it's called the thalamus. Who knew? Okay, next time you play your trivia game and they have a question on the hibiscus, you're going to be prepared. You're going to know thalamus, stigma, and pistil, right? It's never going to happen, but just in case, we are prepared. So, gluing on all the petals. This couldn't look more beautiful, and it couldn't have been more effortless. So there you have the purple hibiscus and the red. Now moving on to a little bit of foliage. This layering hibiscus die set also has some leaves in it. There's like a cluster and then a single. I'm just going to do both. You could do a mixture of whatever, depending on how much foliage you want. I just pulled out some green cardstock out of my, solid colored cardstock drawer, which I now have and love. I designated an entire drawer just to solid color cardstock scraps, and I have never been happier. And then now I'm taking a little olive ink and again blending it along the base, and that did well, but in the end I wanted a little bit more, so I did a mixture of olive and moss, and just a little bit, not too much, but a little dab will do, and that gives you that gradient love on the leaves for the hibiscus magic. How's everyone doing? We're into February. Valentine's Day soon approaching. Are you a big love day celebrator, or could you care less? I mean, I think you already know what makes me happy. I'm a simple gal. Like, all I need is a good French fry, and I'm good to go. Okay, I trimmed a panel of cream cardstock, glued it onto a white card base, putting some glue on the leaves. Like, I'm not doing it two-dimensional, but a little bit I will do. Don't you worry, because you know what I say? Dimension is life. But I'll tell you what, I feel like in 2024, I'm reining in the dimension. Like, I'm not against it, but I'm using it in moderation. It was getting out of hand for me, and my cards were so dang thick that it was kind of ridiculous when you tried to mail it. So it's like, Laura, you got to compromise. And that's where I'm at. Okay, so I did pop up the red hibiscus, but everything else got glued down. So that's my example of reining it in. And then now for the sentiment in this Crafta flower hibiscus layering die set, there's a couple of word dies. I did the friend out of some matte gold cardstock. I did a few more out of white so that I could stack them up, make it a little bit thicker, a little bit sturdier. There's also the word hello with a comma and for my. So you could do hello friend or for my friend, but I didn't use either one of those. I'm just putting down friend. I'm keeping it simple, but you do have options to use those ones if you wanna. Okay, so back to Valentine's Day. Do you guys do anything? Do you bake a sweet dessert? Do you go out? Do you buy presents? Do you do nothing? Like I've done all. I've done it all. I've done nothing. I've done a little bit. I've done a lot. It just depends on the year and how you're feeling it. I want to make a dessert. I don't know what. I always lean towards chocolate because I myself love chocolate to my very core, down to the marrow in my bones. But I don't think my family feels it as much as me. Like, they don't love chocolate as much. They like it. They don't love it. Okay, enamel dots. Let's talk. I did some of these. These are Altenew enamel dots. We have dried petals and forest trail. So a mixture of like kind of pinky purple and green. And I know there's like a rule of thirds. Like usually when I do embellishments, I'll do 3 and 2 on the top. But today I did 2 on the bottom and 2 on the top. And it's really kind of breaking the rules. But I'm feeling that. And sometimes you just got to go with what you're feeling. So 2 on the bottom, 2 on the top. You can do it. You can live your best enamel dot life. Don't be afraid. Okay, there you have the Crafta flower hibiscus layering die set. Now we're moving on to some fun stuff. The Modern Circles Builder stencil set. When I saw this, I gasped. And I was like, come to mama. Okay, there's 3 stencils. They're labeled 1, 2, 3. And they have this beautiful geometric pattern, kind of a pie shapes, like a quarter circle, repeating all around. They're easy to line up. I pulled out the Altenew Stampwheel to hold down a panel of white cardstock, and your stencils stick to it as well, so you don't need any tape. I'm going to use the same colors that I pulled out before because I love them. So we're starting off with a little heartbeat. And now there's 3 stencils. So if you wanted to make this very, very easy, you could just choose 3 colors and do 1 color per stencil. But I never do that because I like to make things as difficult as possible. No, I just like to pack in as much color as I can. It's just not enough for me. 3 colors just feels like I'm too limited. So I did a little heartbeat on top, and some of the little pie pieces I did more intense. I didn't really make this gradient. I just did a few of those pie shapes darker than others. And then I pulled out orange cream. These are all Altenew inks. I'll have everything linked in the description box if I forget to mention the color or if I say the color name wrong or whatever. So again, kind of getting a smooth blend between that heartbeat and the orange cream. And that is stencil number 1. Once I get that nice, even, smooth wash, I'll pull it off and then lay down stencil number 2. This is looking really good so far. So there are little markings in the stencil that allow you to easily line up each stencil. Here we have Pinkalicious. I've always had a soft spot for this particular ink color. First of all, I love the shade of it. It looks fabulous with that heartbeat and orange cream. Also, when my girls were little, we had so many of the Pinkalicious books that we would read before bed. I don't know if they still make them, if they're popular nowadays, but they loved Pinkalicious back in the day. Very popular. And I love this ink color. And I'm blending that into Fresh Lemon. And when that Pinkalicious overlaps with the Fresh Lemon, it's a great little sunset shade going on right there. Really vibing on the Pinkalicious and Fresh Lemon overlap. Okay, so peeling that off, and I really, really loved how this looked. I kind of hated to bring in another color. I didn't want any more competition, but I wanted to add the 3rd stencil, so I thought, what can I do to not add more color? I'm going to do some paste. So I pulled out this Distress Grit Paste in Snowfall, and it's just kind of a white, gritty, I guess it looks like snow. I almost thought about putting this on and then throwing on some clear glitter. I used to have a jar of the Gina K Glimmer Glitz or Glitz Glimmer Paste, and it was kind of like that clear, white, shimmery, but it dried up. I don't know what happened. So I tried this Snowfall Grit Paste. I'm using an old gift card to smooth it out. I do have one of those tools that smooths out the paste, but I have no idea where it is. My organization, I'm working on it. 2024 is the year of organization. Okay, so I set this aside and let it dry. Probably a good hour at least to be safe. And when it dries, it's like gritty and it has a great texture to it. And I love that idea of giving some texture without added color. I'm going to crop this down, even though it kind of pains me to crop down this beautiful design. But I do love a nice border around my cards whenever I can. I just feel like it looks so clean and sharp. It's just a personal preference. Every once in a while, I go right to the edge of the card. But most of the time, most times, I like to have a border. See how it just, I don't know, makes you feel like you got your life in order. Now, for a sentiment, I'm using the Sunny Sentiments stamp set, which coordinates with the Modern Circles Builders stencil set. This says, I think you are amazing. Using the coordinating dies to cut it out. Take it off camera, run it through my die cutting machine, and then I pulled back out that Crafta Flower Hibiscus layering die set, and I just die cut that leafy cluster out of vellum, and I'm just laying that on. I didn't put any adhesive on it. I put foam tape on the back of my die cut sentiment, popping that down over the vellum cluster, and that'll hold it down. And then to finish it off, a few more of these enamel dots. Again, I'm using the dried petals, and this one is the wood warbler, kind of the yellow ones. Again, I used 2 up top and 2 on the bottom because I was feeling it. And there you have 2 really fun, colorful cards. One's floral, one's geometric. Check out the February release video hop with Altenew. Thank you so much for joining me. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you next time.